Hi everybody, welcome back to another song tripping, and I'm going to do a listening log. This is on Wednesday, May 15th. Welcome back if you are a frequent visitor. If you're new, I hope you like and subscribe to the channel. I'm going to go through mostly CDs here, or exclusively CD listens. A lot of these were listened to in the car or at home, and I've been jumping all around. Some of these are things that have been on the shelf for quite a while, and a lot of these are recent acquisitions from library sales. I'll start with something that's been on the shelf for a while, and that is Yo-Yo Ma, the classical cello collection. So you've got a whole bunch of albums in this little box. It's a really nice best of type thing of Yo-Yo Ma, and I listened to 3 CDs on here. Just hadn't listened to him in a while, and I find his music really comforting and special, and just very rewarding. Here is the first CD I listened to. Saint-Saëns Concerto for Cello and Orchestra, and Edouard Lalo Concerto for Cello and Orchestra in D minor. Very nice. This one has a nice cover. Paris, La Belle Époque. Jules Massenet, Meditation from Thais. Gabriel Fauré, Sonata for Violin, Cello, and Piano No. 1 in A major. And another Saint-Saëns Havanaise, Opus 83, and César Franck, Sonata for Violin, Cello, and Piano in A major. Very nice CD if you're in the mood for French music. And then this was the other one I listened to, Strauss, Don Quixote, and Schoenberg, Cello Concerto. And Seiji Ozawa was a conductor of the Boston Symphony Orchestra on the Schoenberg piece. I guess on both of these, actually. So, yeah, really nice, more 20th century music. And Yo-Yo Ma is just great. Like, one thing I like about this box set is it's got a great variety of stuff. So it's not, even though he's just master cellist, and the cello is featured prominently, you get a lot of just orchestral music, concertos, you get chamber music, and a few of the CDs are just him solo playing things, but it's just a nice variety. So sometimes you're not even like quite aware that you're listening to a Yo-Yo Ma album. It's just nice classical music. So anyway, nice stuff there. Here's another classical I listened to in the car on my last day of work, Gustav Mahler, Symphony No. 1, Titan. And this is Håkan Hagergaard as baritone on the other tracks, Lieder eines fahrenden Gesellen. Very nice vocalist, this baritone. But the orchestra is the New York Philharmonic, conducted by Kurt Masur. This is a nice version, but I will say it didn't hold up as well in the car as it did in the home stereo when I first listened to it. So that sometimes happens. Classical music is just kind of hard to listen to in a car because you lose so much. This was a library pickup, face-to-face, by the Kinks, and this is a French pressing of this album. Yeah, really terrific. I mean, an album I hadn't really been exposed to before. It's an album that I haven't really seen out in the wild, and it's great vintage 60s Kinks. The only song that I found recognizable on here amongst the many really good tracks was Sunny Afternoon. Like, that was the standout track, but like the whole album is very sort of literate and good storytelling, and just Ray Davies doing what he does, writing cool songs. I have a feeling, I'm not a Kinks expert, but I have a feeling like this was maybe like a transitional album where they're starting to do more with their stuff. But those of you who are Kinks experts can weigh in the comments. Here's Talking Heads, more songs about buildings and food. Really like this one. I like this one better than the other Talking Heads that I found at the library sale. And there's your track list for this. Take Me to the River is the more famous song on here, but the whole album holds up really well. Produced by Prine and Talking Heads. Yeah, good sounding CD. What else? We have Storyville, Robbie Robertson, and this is again on Geffen, and this came out, boy, that's small. I think it says 1991 is our release date for this. Yeah, it's a solid Robbie Robertson solo album. No complaints about this. I had this one back in the day, and then we got rid of it somewhere along the way. And it's nice to have it back. Here is Cheap Trick, Rockford. Love the cover on this one. And this one came out in 2006, I believe. And here it sort of folds out and you have a nice package to it. This is just, Cheap Trick for me is really pretty consistent, like from album to album. You know what you're getting with Cheap Trick, and this is fine. It's the songs like they move along quite quickly, and this may be one of the last Cheap Trick albums featuring Bunny Carlos on drums. I wish he was still in the band, but those of you who are Cheap Trick experts can let me know when was his last appearance on a Cheap Trick album. But I feel like it wasn't much long after this that he departed the band or was excused from his duties. This is an album that I started listening to in the car as soon as I got it from the library sale about a month or two ago. Grateful Dead, Go to Heaven. And the single off this was Alabama Getaway. That was the bigger song. This is just, I remember listening to it in the car and it was like, oh, this sounds really terrific. And then I had it on the home stereo, and I was in the other room. I didn't have it cranked, so it wasn't quite as an impressionable experience. But it's super listenable. The Grateful Dead is just fun, like you can kind of relax into the Grateful Dead when you're in the mood for it. And this is a keeper. I think it sounded pretty good on CD. Okay, we have some more Steeleye Span. So last night we listened to this one, All Around My Hat. It sounded terrific. There's your track list. Blackjack Davy, and on, like it's just a vintage Steeleye Span album. Like the guitar, rhythm guitar on here really stood out for me as being just rhythmically really cool. And there's something about the way Steeleye Span mixes the drums, bass, and guitar. There's not always like a real strong backbeat to the drums, but like they're all like in sync with one another, and they just kind of drive forward this British folk music in a really nice way. Finally got around to John Prine, Sweet Revenge. This was another library pickup. Listened to it in the car. I should listen to it at a louder volume on the home stereo, but vintage John Prine here. Like, so if you're a fan, you probably know this album really well. It's an early John Prine album. Very nice. This one was a nice sort of sleeper. Robbie Robertson and the Red Road Ensemble, music for the Native Americans. So it's a real themed album. Robbie Robertson did not write all the material for this. He was the producer and arranger, and you have a cast of characters who appear on here, and you can definitely hear Robbie Robertson's guitar on here, and he does some spoken word stuff, and he does there's several tracks here that are by him, but very, very cool Native American, like kind of great drums, great production. Now we're getting into the 90s. This is 1994 on Capitol. And, I like the sound of a Robbie Robertson album like on this better than some of those Geffen era Robbie Robertson albums from the 80s. Just from a production standpoint, like this one is like clearly superior. This one's a sleeper. You might want to check it out. And then this was the last of my Steeleye span pickups. Now we are 6 more vintage Steeleye span, and here is your track list. Again, you get a lot of consistency with Steeleye span. Like they're just very, if you're in the mood for British folk rock with the emphasis on folk, you can't do much better than Steeleye span. Like they're right up there with Fairport Convention in terms of what they do. All right, that's not everything I've listened to, but it's a good chunk, the stuff that was at hand, to share with you. What have you been listening to lately, or do you have any reactions to some of these albums I shared? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching.